Hey, it's 97 Rock. Thanks for hanging out. We've got the brilliant Costaki Economopoulos.
Perfectly said.
I'm like, if the rest of this radio interview goes at least I got that.
It's good. I was in, I'll take it, because it doesn't always come out so nicely. I was in Jacksonville. This is my favorite one ever. The woman comes out, she goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Economopoulos." It's like, wow, that's not even close. Is that my porn star name?
How many of George Carlin's naughty words were in that one?
So yeah, thanks for getting the name right. It's good to be back. It's been a long time.
So you're going to be at Joker's, which I like going to Joker's, but a big name like Costaki, like a really big name, probably the biggest I've ever had. Sorry. You got to go for the cheap date.
Well, that's where I got the moniker from. The biggest name in comedy. This is true. It was one of my first jokes. I used to do open mics at my home club, the Atlanta Punchline. And I said this on stage one day. I said, I called them and asked them if I could come down and do some time. And they said, well, you got to have a big name to play here. Loophole.
Dude,
that was 20-something years ago.
How hard was it to get to where you're at now?
Wow, good question.
Like, I'm not pretending like I know anything about comedy, but I've seen, I've seen bits and pieces of documentaries on guys like Williams, Hedberg, those guys, and the documentary, The Road. Like, do you keep a road diary or anything?
It's weird. I don't. I probably should have, and there were some phases along the way when I did a lot of photographs, and actually had a girlfriend of mine from way back gave me a little stuffed mouse. And it was like he had a bow tie, and he was sort of like he was doing a show. And I used to take that mouse around and get pictures with him and different places that I went and different comics. Like I have Brian Regan holding this mouse. And it just got so embarrassing to try to explain it every week to the other comic. I was like, all right. So I slacked off a little bit from being, meticulous with the photos and everything. But I love it.
Gone are the days of the bus trip for the most part. You did fly into Pasco.
Yes, now I can fly. I have taken a bus. It's been a while, but yeah, I took Greyhound.
What airline did they get you on?
This was Delta.
Oh, they probably don't. Oh man, because when I fly out of Pasco, they got the Alaskan Airlines.
You know what?
Got the propellers. That's
oh yeah, I avoided the propellers. Okay, let me show you a picture. This is hilarious to me. This is since you mentioned Delta, and we're talking about names. Look at this. Read that name.
Adolfo Abio. Adolfo Gogo Abio.
I think so.
Wow.
I saw that today. There was somebody waiting for Adolfo Gogo Abio.
Wake me up before you, Adolfo Gogo.
That is a weird name. That's a much weirder name than mine. You don't see that often, but there it is. Yeah, I fly around now. I did take Greyhound a couple times in the early days. It's just a bunch of people that don't have a car or a friend with a car. There's always a woman with a black eye and a baby. It's like scouts from the Springer Show are there looking for talent. It's very sad.
Yeah, I've been on a couple Greyhounds.
I'm killing in the back of the room over here.
I've been on a couple of Greyhounds, and it's like you rethink your life choices. What brought you to this Greyhound?
You should.
Like, not trying to be, that guy but...
Here's a joke I used to do way back in the day. I wanted to sneak into the bathroom and join the 8-foot high club. Huh? Because it's... Okay.
Oh my goodness. Costaki Economopoulos, you're going to be tonight at Joker's. Tonight, tomorrow, Saturday. It is a Thursday, in case you were wondering. In case this airs tomorrow. So.
That's right. I've been in this club once before, and I loved it, so I'm happy to be back.
It is a nice club, Tri-Cities, you don't expect a lot of it, expect a lot out of Tri-Cities, growing up here. But once you hit 21, life gets drastically better. I don't know if it's the booze or...
I can imagine.
People just let you in.
Now, wait a minute. Speaking of life getting better, you just switched to becoming a Cleveland Browns fan? Is that what's happening in your world?
We don't have to dig up my personality. Just kidding. Yeah, well, I was a Rams fan. Hold
on. Now you look young. Did you grow up sort of during the Greatest Show on Turf era?
Yes.
And that's why they were so fun to watch.
Yes.
Okay.
Warner, Falk, even.
Gotcha.
When you know who's on the offensive line, that's a good team. Orlando Pace.
Right.
Timmerman for a couple years.
That's a funny line. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so when St. Louis moved back to LA, I don't know. I just was never about the LA teams. I don't
Well,
like
they
any other
haven't
LA
been
teams.
good in a long time now, right?
Yeah,
I think they're getting sued by Dodge for screwing up their Ram Tough slogan. Am I right? Is that fair? Is that too harsh out of the box?
hit a man when they're down.
So they're gone. So you're like, let me see if I can find a worse team in the NFL to root for.
Well, you don't want to do anything too brash, and I didn't want to change my lifestyle too much. So the next best crappy team in the Midwest that requires a lot of drinking just to watch the game was good enough for me.
Oh my goodness!
But the fans are great there.
I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll buy that. I hope they win with LeBron. I do. That poor city needs some love of some kind. We'll see what happens. The Manziel thing was such a disaster.
Yeah.
It's only a year and a half ago that he had the #1 selling jersey in the NFL. You can't even get your head around that.
Yeah.
You got to really love a guy to buy a brown jersey with a #2 on it. That's commitment to your guy.
Just dig out the old couch jersey. Now Cleveland's awesome. Cleveland's the fan base is awesome. Like I don't know if you ever cruise the internet. Reddit is a page that I like to see.
Oh yeah.
And the inside jokes that that are derived from the internet. But there was this guy. He's called the Drunk Johnny Fan. I don't know if you've ever seen him.
No.
He's just like piss ass wasted in the stands. He's just yelling. I don't know what he's yelling because he's just on TV in the stands, but he's wearing the Johnny T-shirt, and I think he was the guy that was most affected by that loss in the offseason.
What's going to happen with Johnny? What a disaster! I saw a headline a couple months ago that said Manziel gets new tattoo on throwing hand. I was like, oh, they misspelled drinking. That's not a throwing hand. And now that he's gone, RG3's got some pretty tiny shoes to fill.
He does have tiny feet. He's got the tiniest, and his knees are worse.
We'll see what happens. I'm rooting for him.
But you're an Atlanta fan, and I saw that you actually got to brush shoulders, not with Natty Ice, but Matty Ice.
Yes. I can brush shoulders with Natty Ice. I'm not above that. I used to do that quite often in college. That's been a while. I can't believe you even know that. You seem too young to even know that reference.
All my friends are older than me.
Do people still call it that?
Yeah. Especially if they're Canadian, they play a lot of hockey.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Natural light for those listeners who aren't following at home.
But you're getting to do big things. You're on our morning show, the Bob and Tom Show, which is a riot.
Those guys are great to me. Yeah, they've changed my life.
Steady employment. That's nice. That sounds nice.
Well, it's nice to be able to, not to get too heavy, but the goal as a comic was always to tell the world that you're funny. First of all, you got to get funny, which takes about a decade, and then you spend the rest of your career trying to tell the world you're funny so that people come to see you on purpose, right? Because it's nice to be a comic where people just come into a show and see you, but once they're coming to see you on purpose, the valleys are higher, the peaks are higher, they let you go places because they're already on board before you get there. And so that really opens things up, and Bob and Tom has been the way that that's happened for me. I didn't plan it that way from the beginning, but radio has changed my life. It's been great.
You got to be having a heyday this election season, I bet.
Oh, you know what's funny? I actually have a master's degree in political science, and I used to be really political, and I just kind of went away from it. I just found it to be, it's hard to be political, because half of the crowd's annoyed you're bringing up the subject, and then half of the people who are left hate you for what you have to say, and by the time you polish a good joke about something, it's over and it feels old. So I kind of went away from writing political jokes. And
really?
now it's much more fun to make fun of the Browns.
Dude. This is the low-hanging fruit. Like you're the man, the myth, the legend, Costaki Economopoulos.
I will say that.
But I got to call you out. That's the low-hanging fruit.
It is. That's totally fair. I will do one political joke for you.
Good.
Ted Cruz dropped out of the race. I think it's hilarious that a guy who doesn't believe in evolution was naturally selected out of the race. Okay. Good night, everybody.
So what can people expect to hear tonight and the remainder of the weekend when you're at Joker's?
We'll do a little bit of everything. These kind of shows I can kind of do a lot more time than some other shows that I do. Sometimes if you do a big theater show with several other sort of names, then it's great, but you got to squeeze down the amount of stuff that you can do. And these kind of shows, I can really let my hair down. And we'll talk about, I have a 7-year-old kid, we'll cover that. Went through a custody battle, I got a 2.5-year-old marriage. We'll do some football jokes, I'll do some crowd stuff, I'll do some clean stuff, I'll do some dirty stuff, we'll do edgy, we'll do silly. We can kind of, cover all the bases. I'm looking forward to it.
That's what I was going to ask, because a friend of mine was telling me about Jim Brewer, how after he had kids, he cleaned up his act a little bit so his kids could watch him on TV. I was going to ask,
oh, that's interesting.
do you find yourself, because parents that don't work in comedy already have kids listening to what they're saying and things coming back to them. Why did I say that? So do you change your act a little bit for the kids or your daughter?
My kid's young enough that she's only seen me do stand-up live once, and it was a kind of a weird special thing where it was going to be a super clean set anyway. So I haven't really had to sweat it too directly, but we did have a conversation about 3 weeks ago where she started asking me about bad words. And I had this very progressive Carlin-esque sort of talk with her about how there's no such thing as bad words and it's all about context. And there's some words that might be adult words that maybe you shouldn't use now, but that doesn't mean that the word is bad. We had this great talk. And I was feeling like the king of the world as a dad. This is a true story. And there's a pause and she goes, well, what about the N-word? Is there a good way to use that? And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening in this school?
Yeah, who do you hear that
What
from?
in the F word is happening? So actually it turned out, it wasn't from school, it wasn't from a friend. She has a cousin who's 11, which is also weird, who's reading To Kill a Mockingbird. And so they were discussing this really bad word. And so she was curious about that. And she asked me all kinds of things. She was asking me, it was really innocent and sweet. She was just genuinely curious about all this stuff. She asked me about the B word and the S word and all these different things. And she asked about the H word. And we're both kind of, she couldn't remember what it was. And I was kind of stumped. And we're both crinkling our noses. This is a true story. And I go, the H word? Do you mean whore? There's lesson number one for a parent. First of all, never guess ever at something like that. Second of all, don't guess a word that starts with a W. For what's the H word? She, of course, meant hell, and I was gone way beyond what we were talking about.
Did you teach her a new dirty word in the process?
I guess I did. It was really interesting because she was so curious, and she literally said to me, we had all this talk about all these different words. And I was saying, it's almost like farting. It's not something you want to run around and do in public, but if you understand the context of these words, eventually you can use them here and there, but just you're a kid, there's no hurry, relax. And it was a cool conversation. And she said, so are there other words? What are all the other words? And I'm like, I don't know, there are thousands. I don't even know them all. And the other thing I'm thinking is, well, they can't just hand them to you. That's part of life's fun. It's like an Easter egg hunt. You got to go get these on your own. I remember being in 7th grade, kind of late for this, and maybe it was earlier. It must have been early in 7th grade. I was on my bike. I remember the scene. I was on my bike on the street in front of our house, and I cut to me going, I'm not a lesbian. And then they're like, he's not a lesbian. I'm like, okay, I'm a lesbian. I didn't know what I was saying, but whatever I did, they would torture me about not knowing what it was. Figuring out words like that is part of the fun of growing up. I mean, it's challenging, but you can't just hand it to the kid.
I'm still bugged that your 11-year-old niece, nephew.
The cousin is reading To Kill a Mockingbird.
Exactly. I think that was freshman reading or something like that.
Well, it's inconceivable to me that you would read that. First of all, it's a book about rape and racism.
Yep.
You want to expose a kid to that, go to Central Park after dark. Am I right, everybody? Good night. These are the jokes.
It's so dark. It's so dark. Well, I'm glad that I'm glad that it's possible to remain to keep a dark sense of humor even when you've brought life into the world.
I think so. I mean, first of all, kids are smart and they grow up faster than we did. It seems to happen with every generation, and so just lead them, and be thoughtful. They'll be fine. They follow you, right?
Right.
So don't be a jackass. You'll be fine.
That's gonna be so hard. How's the married life treating you?
That sounded like the closer. Gotta be a jackass, it'll be fine. Good night, everybody. Married life's good. Yeah. Well, I've been married 2.5 years. We know the odds, 50% of marriages end in divorce, and the other half end in death. So we know going in, it's not going to end well. We're rooting for death. Honey, I hope this ends in a death.
Don't do that.
I hope one of us dies, the other one's nearby and sad. That's how we know we won.
Don't do that to me.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
All right, you got plenty of time. You're not married, right? You're married?
I'm married.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
How did you get married before 23?
Well, we started dating because she was super drunk, so I don't, I don't know the rest. I don't have any I'm not Bill Cosby.
How long have you been married?
About 7 or 8 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I will say this: my brother got married in his early 20s, and quietly to myself, I thought, well, this is an effing mistake. And it turns out he has one of the best relationships that I know. And this is, 20 years later. So, maybe you'll be in that list too. Seems a little early. High school sweetheart?
No, just met in town, just hanging out.
Oh, wow.
Get out there.
Get
out there somehow. If you don't want to die alone, don't be alone.
My friend Pat Dixon has a great joke. He said, I married my high school sweetheart. When you marry your high school sweetheart, basically what you're saying is, I have looked all over this school.
That's good stuff.
You tell me, how's married life? You're new.
It's a psycho pit. It's good. It's really good, but for about 5 minutes a day, it's really bad.
Okay. Well,
because I'm a jackass.
That's honest. If you can keep it to 5 minutes a day, I'd say you're ahead of the curve. Right?
But I mean, it's fun. Even even when you feel like you hate that person's guts.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, that unless you really screwed it up, that person's still got your back.
Yeah.
Even if it's got to be tomorrow, maybe not today. She's got your back tomorrow.
Okay.
At least somebody's got my back.
That's weirdly beautiful.
Thank
All right.
you. Thank
I'll
you.
take that.
Thank you.
I might should take that advice home.
You've been through town a couple times, Tri-Cities 509.
Yeah.
You got anything weird that maybe we don't know, maybe you've seen as an outsider looking in?
Oh my God, I just remembered a joke I did way back in the day. I did some one-nighter here at the beginning of time. I want to say the building is the Richland Tower. Is that a thing in town?
We got another Richland in the building. Can confirm?
I think he means the M.
The M Tower.
Is that right?
Is it on George Washington Way by the hotel? The M Hotel.
Across from
maybe.
school.
Maybe. This is a long time ago. But I remember making fun of that building. I was like, how can it be a tower? It's only 5 stories. You can't name it a tower if you could jump off of it and survive. Goodbye, cruel world. You jump off. Ow, my ankle. So from a New York City perspective, that's not a tower. That's there's an outsider's point of view.
You said you're from Atlanta. Are you still in Atlanta?
No, I live in Manhattan now.
Manhattan.
I'm a New York City guy now.
Wow.
It's pricey, but it's otherwise great.
Yeah.
I love it. I love big city life. I never had that before. I was a cul-de-sac kid.
My wife was telling me that if you live in a city like New York or LA, it's commonplace just to run into the stars. You're just down the street just doing something. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true, actually. I had lunch next to Danny Aiello a couple weeks ago, just like I was meeting a friend, and there's, yeah, that's true. It's more true in LA, I found. I lived in LA for many years. LA's got more, well, it's the center of the Hollywood universe, so it's the center of the camera universe on the planet Earth. So there's more people from screen there. And New York has got a bigger mix. That's kind of what I like better about New York. In LA, when you ask somebody how's it going, they go, oh, I went to producers on this and I did this audition. It's just like, what? Shut the F up. I was just being polite. I don't want to know about your career. In New York, there's a little more soul and it's a little bit less showbiz driven. And there are other people doing very well in lots of other industries. It's not just Hollywood. As a comic I know said in LA, why does my dentist have a screenplay? Everyone's in show business to the point of it being it kind of turns your stomach. It's like, I just want to go to have a sandwich. I don't want to talk about show business all the time. I don't know. That's just me. I'm a little jaded, and I'm twice your age, by the way.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say thank you. I don't know if I'm supposed to say.
Well, by the time you're my age, maybe the Browns will have won a Super Bowl. That'll be nice. Is it fair to go back to that subject? Torture you a little bit?
The closest the Falcons have gotten to a Super Bowl is hosting it.
Oh, goodness. It's a good effort.
Don't even get me started.
They lost to John Elway one year. They were in a Super Bowl.
Oh, right, yeah,
It was
right.
one of those Elway unstoppable years that they lost by 30 or something.
Right, and then when Michael Vick took him to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah,
That was a while ago.
he was good, man. Bad decision maker, though. You remember he tried to smuggle marijuana through airport security
Yeah,
in an Aquafina bottle,
yeah.
which is A, clear, and B, a water bottle, which you're not allowed to bring through airport security.
See, I had no idea it was an Aquafina bottle. You know,
Yeah.
like when you read the case file or whatever, in your mind you're like, well, he's $1 million athlete. Surely he can't afford something straight out of a James Bond movie, you know, to like, you know, hide your weed.
Here's an idea, genius. Don't hide a thing in a thing you're not allowed to bring through the thing.
That's true.
That was the brains of my offense for 7 years. Matty Ice is going to take us to the promised land. I saw the over-under on Falcons wins this season is
Okay.
7.5 in
Wow.
Vegas. That hurt my feelings. They're not even expected to finish 500.
Wow.
I'm going to bet on that just so.
It's not as bad as San Francisco. I saw they weren't favored to win any of their games.
I think you're thinking of the Browns actually.
I'm pretty like maybe it's
I don't mean
Stockholm
to be
syndrome.
rude, but I think you have them mixed up with the Browns.
No, because they play the Bengals.
Yeah, but the Bengals are not as bad as they used to be.
I guess you'd have to play the Bengals in the playoffs to hope to win a game, but
Yeah, the playoffs. Andy Dalton has the same number of playoff wins as this microphone. They're not good.
that's a dank stat.
Playoffs.
Get this guy in the MLB writers' room.
So come see me do stand-up. Are you going to come out? Come hang
Yeah,
out?
I want to come see you Saturday.
Okay.
I don't have my tickets yet, so hopefully you brought some. I'm just kidding.
Probably weasel you in.
love
You're
it.
the media, believe it or not.
Oh, you know, like, and that's funny because I'll sit and be like, "Damn the you know," because you know you watch enough. I don't want to like name network TV stations,
I know what you're-
sports
I know what you're
stations.
saying.
You know,
I know where you're going.
Yeah, yeah, and then you're like, "Well, after me." Wait, that's me.
That's me.
That's me. Costaki Economopoulos, opening for you, Amy Miller. You got a little residency at Joker's.
The opposite of Costaki Economopoulos. Amy Miller.
It's a nice American.
Kind of
name.
evens things out. It's nice.
All my friends are going to Greece lately. Have you been to Greece?
Yeah, I've been 3 times this year, weirdly.
Wow.
I had some family stuff I had to go take care of, and so we went. I usually go like once every other year, briefly, and this year was kind of insane. I love Greece. Oh my God, it's
Greece
so nice.
sounds nice.
It's so beautiful. Here's a joke. It's a true story. There's an airline from Cyprus called Icarus Air. Remember Icarus?
Yeah.
He didn't finish his flight. He was the one who wanted to fly to the sun, and his dad's like, well, that's not a very good idea. And he built some wings out of wax and feathers, and as he got near the sun, they melted, and he fell to his death. And it's a parable about listening to your dad. At least that's the way my dad told me the story. And when the people of Cyprus started up an airline, they thought, well, what's a good story to inspire air travel? Hindenburg's taken. Icarus Air. I guess it's better than Oedipus Air. That's a bad flight. You kill your mom. No. Kill your dad. F your mom. I almost screwed up the whole myth.
Closest I think I've ever been to Greece is when you get a euro at the fair.
Yeah, it's the closest you've ever been.
But now Arby's has got that going on, so I don't even need to go to the fair anymore.
The closest you've been to Greece is when you go to the east side of town. Is that what you're telling me?
No, like just going to the fair, just eating food straight
It
from
feels
the carny's
great.
hands. It's my favorite.
So come see me. We'll hang and we'll have an adult beverage. Bring your wife.
I will.
Bring your lovely wife.
It's 18 and over, right?
I have no idea.
I think it's 18.
Been there
Because
in 2 years.
I've been to a couple shows. I'm pretty
How old
sure.
is your wife?
20 and a half.
Oh, okay.
But we went and we saw Alice Wetterland, which was good.
Oh, okay.
She liked that, you know.
Well, if you've been there before, I'm sure you're fine.
Yeah.
You're the media.
The trash can. We'll drink a trash can. Have you had the trash can?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's like 5 liquors and 3 different energy drinks in a like a.
No,
big
mine
bowl.
starts with a 4. I will not be drinking a trash can. You drink the trash can. I'll have a beer like a grown-up.
Costaki Economopoulos, thanks for hanging out.
Thanks, man.
I've never been so slammed. I guess that comes with the territory.
I don't mind the liquor. It's the energy drinks. I'm like, I'm not doing that part. I'll do shots if we
right.
must. I'm not drinking a trash can.
With a name like a trash can, you know it's going to be good. Costaki Economopoulos at Jokers, 3 nights this week. Catch him at 8 o'clock Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's going to be awesome. Thanks for hanging out on 97 Rock.
Thanks, man.